rather have that on rather than my ugly mug.
We're live. I'll see about that. We can start this way. That's fine.
Okay.
So before we get into conversation, there's actually some, I guess, key items in the comic world to talk about. But let me see. First of all, you've never been on my channel yet, have you? I forget.
I think so. I think we did a show together. Yep.
Did we do a? Did I have you on?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's been a while. I know, like,
I'm not memorable.
No.
People forget
me. We've done so many hangouts with Marshall that it just seems like we got together there like all the time. But I was thinking about it. I was like, I forget now. It's like I have to go back over my videos, and
it might have been on the creator-owned channel. I don't know.
Maybe a Studio Synergy, like where I had
might have been
like,
that.
Gatherings. The creative owners, that's kind of new, and I brought that back, so I'll be getting people on there, interview there, and whatnot. But what I wanted to talk about off the top, you've been doing excellent work on YouTube. If anybody hasn't seen you there, you're a comic book black belt, and you're trying to get your numbers up. And I'm pretty much the same situation. Like, I haven't been totally like consistent, but I've been making videos since 2012. I sort of hid everything because I'm trying to keep a more streamlined thing going right now with just doing my comics and art videos. And I'll probably unhide all the past videos at some point, but so we're both trying to up our YouTube game and get a lot more subscribers and get big audience going, because to the benefit of us, that would be. And I thought, hey, why don't we do a competition?
Ooh.
Because something people can get excited about, like who can get to 1,000 first?
Oh, you're already 200 ahead of me. That's unfair.
I don't control the numbers.
Oh dear. I feel like I've been mugged now. I've turned up in good faith and you've mugged me.
No, I mean, it's like, if we can make it like a thing and post about it maybe weekly or something, then more people from my camp will become aware of you and your work and your channel, and people from your camp might become aware of me.
Yeah, I'm all good for spreading the love. That's a good thing.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, it worked for.
I like that.
Batman and Superman. Batman versus.
Yeah. Of course, I am Batman in that equation.
Okay, I have no problem with that. I am the light. I am Superman, and a bit of an alien too.
I think what we must say, I don't know if you've heard the news or not, but Sinha died this morning.
Yeah, just sort of.
Which is, yeah. I mean, you can say he was 93. He had a long life, and apparently he was drawing right up until the end. So there's only so much sadness you can have. I've had people die that I love, and if they've had a worthy sort of like full life, then it mitigates the sadness. And Joe definitely gave so much in his life. He certainly gave a lot to me personally, because he's a big inspiration for the way that I ink, especially when he inked over people like John Buscema. So rest in peace, Joe. You were brilliant in my eyes. You were the best. So
yeah, definitely. One of those inkers that I look forward to seeing his work every month. Back in the day, I remember him most from Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And if you look at like the first issue was Fantastic Four throughout his run with Kirby,
yeah,
just they really bonded as a team and greatly improved. Both of them improved and like just phenomenal work.
It's amazing
definitely.
The amount of artists that went through the Fantastic Four's run up until I think it was up until Byron or whatever. That Joe Sinnott gave this homogenous gloss to, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like he kept it all looking very pure. It was always a Fantastic Four. And it didn't matter what artist, what penciler came in, Joe gave it that sheen, and he did such a fantastic job on that, and he was such a brilliant inker. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, because some people like inkers that are a little bit more random or rougher, as it were. I can't find the proper words for it, but his inks were so slick, scratchy maybe. Yeah, his inks were super slick. Do you know what I mean? He could make a slick inker look scratchy. It was just so damn good. And of course, when you examine the work closely, you realise that it isn't super slick. It's just so well done that it comes over as being this amazing sort of highly technical style, and it isn't at all. It's got so much heart in it and so much energy, and it's just a fantastic ink. I see it as kind of like a pure comic book reference, to be honest. I just loved his work.
Yeah, he wasn't splashy, but he was highly effective.
Yeah.
And I put in like an inker like Dan Green, was similar to his work. Also another great inker. But you really have to go back and look at those back issues to see his work. But it's definitely worth it.
Oh yeah.
So he was one of the greats. I never got a chance to meet him, but always loved his work.
He seemed like a top bloke as well. A really nice guy.
Yeah. Lots of those guys from that time.
Yeah.
It was before all the rock stars showed up and ruined everything.
Yeah. when it was all about the craft.
Yeah. A bunch of guys in their basement working on monthly comics. But that was sad news. The other bit of news in comics is not is disgraceful, really. Like it's a bunch of names floating around, allegations, sexual misconduct. And I'm not going to throw any names in here, but it's people taking advantage of other people. I've heard some horror stories, and more often than not, it was like conventions. Like artists would get together. Everybody, like, like anybody who ever went to San Diego, usually get a room with a group of other people.
Yeah.
And stuff would go down. And
yeah, I don't know. I don't know a lot about it, to be honest. I think you do have to be careful to instigate witch hunts on the basis of just one person's say so or some kind of rumor. You do have to be very careful about that. If these things are real, then they need to be sorted out. No doubt about it. But you do have to be careful. And then I suppose I'm not going to say too much about it, to be honest, because I'll just say the wrong thing. I just think you have to be careful. There's no doubt about it. If people are doing shit like that, sort them out. It's wrong. So get it sorted. But the publishers need to take some responsibility. They must have known things are going on. There's no smoke without fire, as they say, and there must have been plenty of smoke about. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of some people getting put off books because of it or whatever, but yeah, I mean,
right.
It's hard to know what's actual fact or not unless you were there yourself or you heard it from a bunch of people. And I don't know enough to say this is true or this is not. But
but that's exactly why people shouldn't get cancelled on the internet for it. People don't know.
Yeah.
You got to have, it's so easy to dogpile on people, but if you don't know, don't get involved. That's my personal opinion. If I don't know, I don't get involved. It's easy to say, I think XYZ is wrong and bad. Okay, we can all do that. And obviously in this case, if those things went down, the bad things that they've said, and I only know very, very little about it. I've just caught it on the airwaves, as it were. That ought to be sorted out. But at the same time, you can't really kind of do it on the internet and kind of police people on the internet, because you don't know anybody unless you meet them, unless you experience them. So it's difficult to throw accusations around, and then, but even worse than accusations, like dogpile on people. I hate that expression, but yeah, it's a very sad time, and especially in an industry that, or I'll say in a medium that we love. And we just want, we would both agree comics are for everybody, literally everybody. And nobody should feel they can't be in comics because somebody's, because they feel uncomfortable. It should never be the case.
Yeah. I mean, that's ringing true of every industry.
Exactly. Yeah. Of everything.
People show up at work. Yeah, you show up at work and just have a good time and be creative and
just common decency.
Yeah, yeah,
that's all it is.
It's just like went through Hollywood with the whole Me Too and that really tore things apart, and this is it's going to upset the industry and. As long as like people are aware and people speak up, like when they actually fact know something.
But that's the trouble, isn't it? I mean, for instance, with the whole Me Too thing, is that there were some hideous men doing hideous things, but when did people speak up? It took forever for anyone to speak up about it, and that's the terrible thing about it is that some people knew it was going on and didn't say anything, and that's a pretty bad thing to do. If you know something's happening, surely you've got to say something. You can't just, I don't know. It's difficult because I know there's like the argument can be said, some people would lose their jobs and all the rest of it, but I don't know. If I knew some kind of abuse was happening, I'd say something about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard in an industry where, more and more it's becoming like you just know people online. You don't actually meeting up with people, and you don't know their behaviors. You don't know their real life. You don't know.
No, exactly. Although saying that, at least they can't abuse you if you're online. They can't get to you, can they? It's
they can destroy things from remotely.
But what you've got to be is So for instance, I don't have. I'm not affiliated with a big publisher, and I'm unlikely to be honest at my age. So I'm just doing my own shit. So just leave me alone. Just let me get on with it. There's too many people rowing about things that don't matter when there's so many things that do matter. I know that sounds a little bit generic, but again, I'm not going to get into a row online about shit because I'm here to make comics. I'm not here to be political. I'm not here to give you my opinions on, unless you want my opinion. I mean, obviously, I do a show on Monday nights with Lucifer Storm, and we just talk shit.
Yep.
But we don't. It's just general fun and being honest with an audience. We just want to show that we're just two guys that want to make comics, and we've got opinions. But a lot of the time, you really need to keep it to yourself. And just like I say, if you see something bad, call it out. But as far as online is concerned, I'm just here to make comics. I don't want to sway anybody to my particular point of view. And that even comes down to just making comics. Like, I like comics to be like they used to be. I like the craftsmanship or the draftsmanship. I like Bronze Age comics. I like the stories, romance, not sex, action, not violence. I love that whole, and that's why comics used to be all ages, because they spoke to all ages. Whereas I see so many comics now, even when they claim to be for everybody, are actually talking about very, very intense themes. And I just want to, create fun comics with fun stuff in, and I have opinions about the way art should be done, but that's my opinion, and I'm open to tell people my opinion, but it is my opinion, and it doesn't mean I'm right. It just means that that's my opinion, and that's what I want to do. So it's all, everything's good. It's all good. Peace. It's all good.
Absolutely. I know plenty of female artists, and I have them on my channel, and in my little way, I try to look out for them, because I know some of them have been through some stuff, and it's just,
I mean, people should be supported. People should be supported if they've got problems and they reach out for help someone. That's a human thing to do. Human art studios. That's what you are.
Yeah, that's what I'm all about.
You're all about the human.
Yeah, I like humans.
They're okay. I couldn't eat a whole one.
Not in one sitting.
Not in one sitting,
no. But let's see. I don't know. Oh, just oops. Your screen went dead.
Oh, am I still there?
You're still here. Just looks like your digital screen went black.
How's that?
Oh, there you go.
Right. Okay. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, excuse me if I'm a little wonky. It's like my freaking neighbors have kept me up the last 2 nights.
Oh God. Well, I hope it's, I won't say anything. By the way, if I drop out, just be
Right.
patient and I'll come back in, because my internet has been doing weird things and I can't work out if it's my internet connection or if it's my router. If it's my router, I'll have to buy a new one because I can't be doing with that.
No sweat. You know,
it normally comes back. It's like
happens.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I'm that far back in Gen X that I'm almost a boomer. So yeah, I get by, but sometimes I have to call my kids. You know.
Excuse me, how do you turn this on?
Yeah. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Oh yeah, it's like for all I know about technology, you know, I've learned by doing, and you know, I still know nothing compared to kids these days.
No, well, they've grown up with it.
Yeah. It's like, well, you just do this, isn't it? Oh, okay, slow down. What are you saying? What do I do?
The thing is I used to program. I had a business that I started in 2000. Yeah. And that went until 2009. And I was programming. I previous to that, I'd been an art director and a designer, and I fell into retail work for the internet. So I ended up programming and designing, and then three of us broke away from the agency and worked for a large blue chip company over here called First Choice. It was a big holiday company, and we did a whole bunch of programming for them, as well as other bits and pieces and apps and what have you. So I was programming solidly for about 12 years. But the time came in 2010 where I had to decide what I wanted to do. And I really wanted to try my hand at drawing, you know, illustration, because I hadn't done it for so long. And at that point, if I wanted to carry on with the programming, I would have had to have kept up with it. So I'd have had to have carried on, you know, going to doing courses and all kinds of stuff. And then I'd have ended up having to go into one of the tech cities, so either London or Cambridge or something like that. And so I'd have had to travel to work, and they'd have wanted their pound of flesh, as these people do. So I thought, sod it, and sold up and decided to draw and be a poor artist instead.
Yep, that's the fate.
Yeah, it's about the size of it.
Oh man, you know, it's like before I did comics, I just had a 9 to 5. I was a messenger for a long time. Then I worked my way into a mailroom. I ran a mailroom at one point, but it was just me. It was not like I had a group of people. It was just me, but it was for a multi-million-dollar company. You have questions?
I did that myself. I ran mail.
Yeah.
And also I was a runner on a dealing floor for a while, and worked in a bank in international settlements. It was very nearly a career I went into, but I didn't. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it paid the bills. It was like I was happy because it was physical. You know, this is like doing comics is like the exact opposite of what my body and brain needs. You know, to a certain extent. You know, it's like I'm not an athletic guy, but I need to be physical.
Yeah.
You know, I need to go out and walk and
yeah.
But it's funny. It's like you know, now that I'm doing comics and you know, I mail a lot of stuff out. I'm still like getting the hang of working with the post office nowadays, because it's like you think I'd know how to, you know, gauge like, okay, this is going to cost this amount, and you know, this this is what I need to do for international packages.
Yeah.
No, it's like whatever I learned back in the day that I have to relearn, because I totally like, I don't know if we had like systems in place that I don't have here.
Yeah, I'm going to have to work out the prices on mailing for my book.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that bad actually. UK postage, by the sound of it, is actually cheaper than US postage. So
yeah. I mean, like, yeah, for you to ship something here is cheaper than for me to ship to you.
yeah, so I should be able to work that out without too much bother.
Yeah, it actually surprises me, because like my intention, if for whatever reason, if I have a huge UK audience that want my book, I'll print it out there. I don't understand why most people just like want to print it here and then ship it there, because the price is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, you're better off just getting some kind of printer that will fulfill you the order.
I spoke with one of the guys working at Marcosia, and he's like, we use this printer, and they they print here and in the UK, and they print in America, or something,
Right.
So once I get rolling, I'll definitely.
I'm going to have to get the name of that printer actually, because I've been thinking of speaking to Harry.
This is another
Harry
guy working
Marcosia.
there.
Yeah,
I don't know Harry, but
all right. Well, I did 2 books for Marcosia, so
yeah.
I kind of know Harry, or I know him to speak to. He's a lovely fella. So I was, I'm still sort of not sure as to where to go for printing. And I was wondering about, because I did 2 books with them. The first book I did was a prestige book, which was Terminus at Fenton's Green, and we did a hardback version and a softback, and that was on glossy paper. And then the second book I did, which was I can't see it from here because I'm crap at names. The Indifference Engine 2.
Okay.
That seemed to be on some kind of newsprint. And I'm really interested in the whole newsprint thing. So
yeah,
I've had an offer from JD Rosario from Unstoppable Comics to possibly get the book printed out there. But I'll have to wait and see. I've got to look into the whole printing thing and see where I'm going to go. But it would be really nice if I could do it in newsprint. If not, I even had the idea of maybe putting it through a filter to give it that dot that you used to get from 4-color printing, and maybe even do that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I know. Like, my character's name is Retro, but and I'm sort of letting like Marshall is the colorist of Retro, Marshall Lee, and and I'll probably have a final talk with him, but he's colored a batch of pages, and I have to send him more.
Good stuff.
And he's sort of going like he's making the paper yellow.
Oh, cool.
And he wanted to do the dot stuff. I was like, no, please, no, don't do that.
Oh, I might talk to him then about doing mine. Because I'd like to at least see how it looked. I might not go with it.
Yeah. We have Frank Salazar in the chat. Hey, Frank.
Hey, Frank.
Yeah, it's like I just seen it too many times where, like, in most cases it's like covers done, like they're making it look like a an old comic, so it's a little beat up, and like stuff you could do in Photoshop and whatnot. And it's like, oh man, it's like it's a new comic. I don't want people to think it's an old comic.
That is the problem. Yeah, it's like I like the idea of that faux retro look, but at the same time, is that going to be something that makes it more sellable, or is it going to put some people off? Whereas if you just like, obviously my books have a nod to the Bronze Age, but something that I do like to stress as well is that I'm not trying to copy the Bronze Age. So there's a sort of there's a temptation to kind of go more retro, but at the same time, it's like maybe it should just be a companion. It should be it's like I am inspired by Bronze Age work, but I also have a contemporary twist to it, if you like. You got to be careful how far you go with these things, and also measure the response of your audience. Is it something they're gonna want? I don't want to go too far down one line and find that nobody likes it.
I mean, like when it comes to audience, I do want to give them what they want, but at the same time, this is my vision of a book I want to do. So it's like, it's like, well,
you'll get what you're given and like it. God damn it!
No,
take it.
It's like if you don't like it, then I understand. It's like I don't like every book ever made. I don't buy every book.
Oh God, no! I don't have the money to do that. No. Every book. I wouldn't want just buy every book, but there are quite a lot of books that I would like.
Yeah.
Too many books.
So let's see. Salazar says Lulu. Where's this coming? Lulu has prints all over. Shipping internationally is $6 or $7. Oh, okay. Well, different places cost different, but
$6 or $7 isn't bad.
And Marshall Lee
is Marsh in the chat.
I mean,
mate.
No, he's talking about Marshall Lee of
right.
Donkey Drawer Project. I know that guy. He says. Oh, so here's a little tidbit, which Frank might know or not, but I'm sure you're aware of the 9-volt anthology that Marshall was on.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do a story for the second edition.
Oh, cool!
So I decided to join the gang over there because I'm part of their Discord. Even though I'm not on Discord all the time, I go there every once in a while. But
I do go to the AAA you're talking about.
Yeah.
I pop in occasionally. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm on there. Yeah, but I don't pop in there enough. I should pop in there more.
Yeah.
But what it's like is trying to find time to do everything. Occasionally I pop in and look at people's art and comment because there's loads of great stuff in there. But, and I'd really love to. I quite often get a note from Mike Emirates. I'm going to go in the hangout. Anybody want to join me? And I always think, oh, that'd be really good to do that. And then I always end up doing something else, getting too busy. Because Mike's a lovely fella. Yeah.
No, he's awesome. And, we have another group and we do hangouts a lot. Another Discord group.
Right.
But so I speak with Mike a lot and some other folks. We're all just working at home and chatting,
doing a thing,
doing a thing, trying to increase our YouTube channels. It's funny. It's like my brother's got YouTube channel, He's got one video up, and he's got like he's got over I think it's over 1,000 subscribers.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, when you work for DC all the time, as he does, you're going to get some. You're going to get some people turn up, aren't you?
Yeah.
Tell him to tell them to go to yours. Just say, look, go over there. It's damn good. Don't just stay at my channel. Go over to my brother's channel. It's fantastic.
Now, you know, back in the day, when we were all still living in Brooklyn, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But now, because I talk to him so rarely, or you know, I mean, like compared to being in the same neighborhood, that the last thing I talk about is business. So.
Oh, that's fine. I understand.
It's like, did you see this movie? That's talk about movies.
Talk about movies.
So Frank says he's working on his story for the second anthology. Yeah,
cool.
I just came up with my idea for it's like pulp themed, pulp action themed. So I was like, ooh, I want to do a detective.
Oh yeah.
But it's a retired detective who investigates his recently deceased wife's life.
Might not like what he finds.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. I'm going to write it.
Read the story. So, for those people watching, do you want to tell them about your book and what it's about? And
sure. It's called Only Death Can Save Us, and it's Bronze Age inspired. It's a cosmic based adventure, and it's the first book of at least 3. It's kind of an origin story to the 2 main protagonists, Chrissy and Dee. Dee is the nickname for Death that Chrissy gives Death. And Death, I have got an elevator pitch somewhere. It's a story about Dee, the elemental that is known as Death, coming out of retirement and helping her save existence effectively. And it's a bunch of different stuff going on. It's kind of a buddy movie kind of feel to the 2 of them, and it's a massive punch up and a setup as well for the journeys that they will be going on. So there you go.
Yeah, I've heard the pitch before, and it sounds really fun. So I hope people check it out. And you got a newsletter for it.
But
are you falling out?
You know.
Oh, there you are. Your internet's lagging a little, I think. Unless it's mine. Could be this heat. think it's on my side. Uh-oh. So we'll come back. Please excuse the technical issues. We'll get back on track. Okay.
Oh, did it went? Damn thing.
Let's do this.
Okay.
Hello, hello.
Hello? Can you hear me?
You're back. Do you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
All right. Did my settings change?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Salazar says, I kicked Russ for you, Pete.
Thanks, Frank. I told you that it's weird. It comes and it goes. It's just bizarre. Where was I?
Yeah. You did your pitch.
Right. Okay.
And
so, did you hear that I was on Indiegogo?
No.
Right. Okay. So,
so
there'll be an Indiegogo holding page up in the next couple of weeks. And you'll be able to catch me there as well as at my the websites. And like I say, the story's kind of, it's as deep as you want it to be. There's lots of clues in there to all the research that I've done. There's like Sumerian names for people and hints at ancient mythologies, human mythologies. There's all kinds of stuff to find out in it, but the crux of the story is Chrissy and Dee and fighting a bad guy.
Right, and you get, I mean, I've seen your cover. You get a bunch of characters in there.
Which cover have you seen? Is it color?
I don't know.
Color? Is it color?
I saw the black and white.
Right. Okay. So it was the one that was kind of like a fight scene with death in the middle. Yeah. That's that's it. Effectively showing him in one of his many battles with the Satana's hordes. Satana's on the screen at the moment. He's the big bad, and there's a battle scene, and there's more of that to come in the other books. The battle that they're in this one is slightly different, but it's still good fun. Lots of whomping and fooming.
So does the fact that you have a Indiegogo waiting page, or what'd you call it?
There's a holding page. Yeah, it's not up yet. It's not up yet, but right. We'll be doing it. Basically, the idea being is that you can farm people's email addresses. So right. to farm people's email addresses, at the moment I have to connect with them through YouTube or through my website, and if they're interested, they'll go onto my email list. But when you're up on right. Indiegogo, it's obviously open to anyone who happens to be browsing for comics or anything like that. And then eventually, once the campaign goes out, I can amalgamate the two lists and have one list to talk to people.
Yeah, I need to eventually do a list.
Yeah, a list is important. Everybody I've listened to that talks about marketing yourself and crowdfunding and connecting with a potential audience, you've got to have an email list. So eventually I started one. It's free. You can go to MailChimp and start a free one. The only thing you need to do is you need a PO box if you're going to send emails out.
By mail? No. Why you need a PO box?
Because it's something to do with online security, because they effectively know that you're a real person. So you could just put your own home address in, but that's the last thing you want to do, isn't it?
but real people don't live in post office boxes.
No, they don't, but they can only get one if they're a real person.
Okay, cool. Well, I think I'm pretty sure I attempted it before when I wasn't really ready to do anything with it.
Right.
So I have a MailChimp account.
Oh,
and
good.
I have something in the works that will be sort of an extra when people sign up.
All right, so give something away.
So I gotta.
Yeah, that's a good idea as well. I haven't actually got anything to give away at the moment.
Some bananas,
Some bananas.
Have a banana.
I love bananas.
So what else is new? What are you excited about right now?
I'm excited about my book. That's about it, really. It's about shameless self-promotion there. I'm excited about my book.
There you go.
There you go. I don't know if in all honesty, that's what's doing it for me at the moment. I'm not watching much. What was the last thing I watched all the way through? Oh, I watched Preacher.
Oh yeah,
which I thought was excellent. I absolutely loved that. That was a really good series.
There's a family wholesome show.
Yeah, it's not a family wholesome show. No, it's not. It certainly is not. But it was great fun. I really enjoyed that. But I'm not. Without getting entrapped in all the politics that goes with it, all the crap that goes with it, I'm not much of a Disney Star Wars fan, to be honest. I wasn't impressed with any of them, to be honest with you, any of the films. I really do love the original Star Wars. I was there as a kid, as you were. But I loved it, and I actually, when it wasn't trendy, when it was actually unfashionable to like the prequels, I really liked the prequels. I thought they were great. I didn't have a problem with them at all. As I keep telling people, I am incredibly shallow, and I really, really liked. I really liked the special effects and all the madness, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. But I'm not really. There's nothing that's really on the horizon. Even the MCU stuff, I really did enjoy all that, all the MCU films. I come at them that I personally don't come at them as 616. They're much like the Nolan Batman films. They're a version of the heroes from the comics, and I think they did a fantastic job with them as a film version of those heroes, and seeing the battle scene in Civil War just made my jaw drop. It was like, oh my god, this is great. I was like a little kid again. So they did a fabulous thing with those films. But I have to say, once it got to the end, the final two films, that was it. I was all done. I'm all MCU'd out, to be honest. So
I mean, like, talk about timing. The two biggest superhero movies came out, and then nothing. You know, they were supposed to be the Disney Plus shows.
Yeah,
It was supposed to be at this point the next the first Black Widow movie, solo movie, and everything got halted to a stop.
Everything got coronavirus.
Yeah, it was like it's like Endgame was actually the Endgame.
It was the Endgame. But I'll be honest, I was quite happy with that. A lot of these things go on for too long. I really enjoyed the Into the Spider-Verse. I thought that was brilliant. My son bought that for me on DVD, and I was really impressed with that. It's great.
Nice.
An absolute wonderful example of how to do, diversity correctly. It was just such a brilliant film. So that was good, and I don't know. I can't think of anything else really. I tried The Boys, and couldn't really get on with that, to be honest. It didn't do much for me.
That was fun.
Yeah,
but I mean,
didn't do it for me. But the Umbrella Academy, I thought was really good. That totally hooked me, and I'd never read the comic.
Yeah,
so didn't need to read the comic on that.
No, not really. Season 2 is supposed to be out.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah, it's probably one of the few things I'm keeping my subscription for. And the Mandalorian, I'd quite like to watch that because I've heard so many good things about it. So but I'm not really. I'm certainly not excited for. I'm more excited for comics again, to be honest. I've pledged to quite a few comics. I hope they all turn up. I pledged to one on.
I don't know if they will.
I pledged to one on Kickstarter the other day. It was a cyber punk thing. I think it was Jessica Reader. I don't know. I can't remember. It art looked really, really good, which again underpinned my shallowness. I really am. I'm totally hooked in by the art on books, and if the story's good enough, exactly like you say, you'll be pulled in by the art and you'll stay for the story. But I often it's just the art that pulls me in. Love looking through stuff. So there's quite a few Indiegogo and a couple of Kickstarter books I'm looking forward to receiving, and I look through on Amazon to find the Essentials books.
Right.
And last month I got myself a Thor one, which was mostly Buscema and I think it was Palmer or Sinha, and that, just beautiful work. So I'm kind of into comics at the moment selectively, and a bit bored with anything on the television or the movie theater.
That's cool, man. Comics are classics. The movies come and go. It's like, it's like, everybody's in an uproar about this movie or that movie or whatever, but 2 months down the line, nobody's talking about it.
No, but comics, they're always there. So there's something I want to do is I won't be releasing my comic in digital format. I want it printed. And hopefully people will see that there's worth in owning the book rather than just owning the files.
Well, yeah, I mean, I totally hear you, and I did something that I don't see elsewhere, which is I offered a digital version, but I offered a digital version on the story alone.
Right.
I'm going to have different versions of the comic, actually. So it's not alternate covers. I guess it's alternate insides, but
that's different.
If you ordered the Kickstarter and eventually once I fulfill that order, I'm going to do it Indiegogo. You'll get a 40-page comic.
Oh, cool.
So it's the story, regardless of what you get, what version you get is 28 pages.
Right.
So the digital version will only be the 28 pages, but the printed version will be the extras.
Oh, right. That's cool. That's quite a good idea. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because to me, getting the printed version is the event. You know, and because of that, you'll get some extras, and yeah, there might be a couple of ads in there, but you know, there's also some bonus stuff you won't see.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Maybe I'll nick it.
Well, you know, they don't call me a genius for nothing.
Yeah, good stuff.
But yeah, you know, it's like I've read so many comics in my time, and yeah, I prefer the printed version. One thing I hate though in modern comics, and this started back in the day of early Image, because printing quality has improved because, you know, there's like digital downloads and digital versions online of comics. The size of the lettering has decreased. It's much smaller on average in comics. And I'm like, if I have to go blind to read your comic, then that's not fun.
It's not happening. No, I agree. Yeah.
You know, I want to read the printed version, and I got somebody's book, and it's like, you know, they sent me the digital file like off the bat, and it's like, no, I want the printed version, and I waited for the printed version, and I read like 3 pages, and I'm like, the lettering's too small. This you know, I love the art, nice comic, lettering is too small.
I've because obviously my my lettering's done via computer. It's manual, but it's computer generated. But
Right.
I measure it out to the comics that I enjoy and I enjoy reading, and I check out the typeface and you know, the sizes and stuff like that. Because the last thing you want is it being unreadable like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like back in the day, I don't know, like Black Panther, written by Don McGregor. I could swear like 3/4 of the page was lettering, and and somehow I could read that. You know, you know, he used to write. He used to write novel comics. You know, it's just tons and tons of text, and it was awesome. But yeah, you know, look at comics nowadays. It's like, really, you know, I mean, that's there's, I don't know if you know Mitch
Brightweiser.
His
Yeah.
his Allegiance. What is it? I forget.
Allegiance Arts, is it?
Yeah, his comics. They're really nice. Well, you know, production wise and everything. But I commented online, which he didn't respond or anything, but I'm sure he saw it. I was like, this is a great book, except, you know, the lettering is just a little tiny. That's my one beef.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I saw some of those books and they looked well produced, but they didn't do anything for me, so I didn't get any of them. But you know, good on him.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think it's good for all if he's successful getting into new territory.
Oh yeah,
that other independent publishers haven't done yet. So
yeah. I mean, yeah. So it's what is it? The rising tide floats all boats or something.
yep,
I can't remember what it is, but yeah, just,
most definitely.
You know, everybody benefits. Everybody benefits.
Yeah. So, oh, I wanted to mention when you were talking about Star Wars. Yeah, I was there back in the day when they created that. You know, a movie. It didn't come out the same weekend. It was around the same time, and I don't know why I put these two films together, but back in the day, and you know, Star Wars came out, and also another film called Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yep. I'd put that in the same boat because my mum and dad took me to see both those films, and it was the very first couple of times I'd been to the cinema to watch anything.
And I enjoyed both, but I liked Close Encounters more.
Mm-hmm.
And that went on for years and years. So it's like when everybody says, "Oh, I'm such a big Star Wars fan," I was like, "I like Close Encounters. That was a great movie."
Yeah,
then it became a franchise and a whole thing, and it was like eventually, okay, I give in. It's like I like it.
It didn't become trendy until X-Files turned up in the 90s, and then everybody was all over Close Encounters. Oh yeah, you got the special edition? Yeah. No, I went to see it at the cinema, mate. Shut up.
I think a big part of it was that I listened to that soundtrack a million times.
Is that John Williams?
That music. I think so. Yeah. I think so. I was typically a radio guy. Whatever was on the radio, I didn't know names. I didn't know, details. But movie, like a lot of movie soundtracks, is some really amazing movie soundtracks I could listen to, especially doing this work.
Yeah,
you want something on that isn't distracting. That
sit and listen to something by Vangelis.
Yeah.
Chariots of Fire. Sit and listen to that. It's almost classical music,
right? Yeah.
I do listen to the occasional set of classical music.
In the flavor of, definitely.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom.
So is this all you're currently working on at the moment, or you got other projects going?
No, I'm fortunate enough to be just doing this. I've just finished the last in an arc for Unstoppable Comics on Storm Chasers, and I've got to do a cover for that at some point. I've got a couple of commissions that I did the sketches for last week, and I've had my the film company I've been working with want me to do some storyboarding at the end of next month. So I've pretty much got some time to do this.
That's cool. I wish retro was the only thing I was working on, but I got a graphic novel I'm working on, and
got to make money.
Yeah, I mean, especially since the government screwed me so far. I haven't gotten my stimulus check.
Oh no!
Still, yeah. I guess I always thought once I got into Kentucky I was sort of off the grid, but I didn't realize how off the grid I was.
Ours have been pretty good. I mean, they've paid me, and I'm freelance, so I wasn't expecting to get when this all kicked off. I wasn't expecting to get anything. I thought I'd have to survive on my own, and they gave me a payment, and I've effectively seen it as R&D, so I can do my book on that payment, and possibly another one they may be given next month, because I really have been affected by it. Although I'm getting a little bit of work from the film company, it's only a week's work, and they tied me up to do probably another 6 to 8 weeks work for them before the COVID hit. And it will come back, but it's delayed. And also I was working with a company called Charisma on effectively an interactive story that's based on existing books from Europe, where you become part of the story and the AI interacts with you. It's very clever stuff. And also they wanted me to do some original stuff as well. So I was kind of like somewhere between an art director, curator, and an illustrator for them. But they had work. They basically said, well, we've got work stretching out for another year for you. So I thought I was going to have to do this at, an hour a night or whatever it was. But they said they had to say, no, look, we're going to have to hold off. We'll probably be back in October. So I really was, adversely affected by the COVID thing, because it just basically took all the work out from underneath me. But the government stepped in, did the right thing, because obviously if I don't get money, then I can't go out and buy products and keep paying taxes to them and stuff like that. And like I say, I've got this week of work from the film company, but they obviously that's nowhere near enough. And so I'll probably be able to take the second payment from the government, because it's still adversely affecting me. But the way I see it is that the time that they've given me means that I can do this book and hopefully make a valid revenue stream out of it. So once again, I don't become a drain on the public funds. I'm making my own way. I don't need any handouts. I don't need to be helped. There's people that are more deserving, and I can pay back in with the money that I earn from my revenue streams in the form of taxes. So I feel like it's been a net plus for me, although I haven't earned anywhere near the money that I would have earned from the storyboarding and working with Charisma. I have given myself an opportunity to make another revenue stream with my own book, and of course actually get my story out there, because it's really important. And I was hoping to get the book out this year, but while I was working for my main two clients, I thought chances are it's not going to come out till next year, because I'm only going to have like weekends and evenings to be able to work on it. But at the moment, I'm being able to give it pretty much my full attention, because those clients are obviously not able to give me work at the moment. So it's kind of worked out okay for me. I can't complain, really.
I can.
Yeah. We have a slightly different. We've got different people in charge. Okay. Yeah. Again, I'm not going to make any political statements here. All I'm going to say is honk. Because what happened? I went to sleep one day in 2012. I'm pretty sure the world ended in 2012, like in my end say, and this is all just some kind of fever dream. Because the world has gone completely fucking nuts.
It's the last season of Lost.
Yeah.
And, it's gone completely off the rails.
It's like, what next? I'd see those memes about 2020, and they say, you have made it to level 5 of Jumanji. Oh, what happens next? So you got to laugh. You got to just,
Yeah, I mean, like hopefully the world regains its sanity, and
let's hope
something good happens. Yeah. But right now it's like, I hope the coronas is dealt with, and that we can have a semblance of a normal existence again. I hope that the economy can be brought back to strength. I hope that, just people can have
get on
better lives again. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
get on
mean,
and work together.
It's like I went through the like NPR has a up to date figure on everything that's happening. It's like it's almost at 500,000, and that's like insane.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the trouble is there's so many conflicting stories as well, because there seems to be scientific evidence coming out to every week. They'll say, I don't know, somebody will say something about masks. Okay, you got to wear a mask, and then another science review will come out and go, yeah, but masks don't really make that much difference. And then somebody else will say, yeah, but masks do, and it's constant. It's like we had this guy from Oxford University say that we could potentially, it could potentially be 500,000 people could die, and everybody panicked, and that was part of the lockdown. And at the end of it all, the thing is that you don't get this on mainstream media, because they like the previous story, because all mainstream media hates whatever government's in power at that moment in time, because they just want to have some kind of weird story and get lots of people to click and watch their channel and stuff like that. And but actually what's been said about his model, because it was all a model, is that it didn't take into account loads of stuff. Like loads of things about, what if you did some of these things? So not lockdown, but what if you said, okay, let's make sure that care homes are okay. Let's make sure that old people are okay. Let's make sure that we do the 2 meters or whatever it might be. And none of these things are actually taken into account when they had this headline 500,000 figure. And you just realize that there's so much knee-jerk reaction to everything that goes on. And it's just not helpful. You need a calm, balanced reaction to these things, because as much as it, the disease is a real thing, at the same time, so is economic deprivation and emotional contact and all these things, and the fact I think what I find most disturbing is the whole red pill thing. Is that people need to learn to live with some risk. The government can't fix everything, whatever land, whatever country you live in. We're on a rock spinning around at 24,000 miles an hour, fucking running around a big star in the middle of nowhere, okay, and things could hit us at any second. Like, there's risk everywhere. Calm down. Suck it in and calm down. And that's not for 1 minute, saying that this is nothing and you should just like run out there and all group together. You've got to err on the side of caution. Of course you have. But there does seem to be a lot of fear porn, especially on the television. It's I don't watch the TV anymore. I don't watch it anymore.
Yeah, I quit watching TV news a while back. I mean, not that I ever really did, anyway. But
no, comic book artists. We're a couple of old hippies, anyway.
It's just like, if I want to know about it,
I'll find out.
I'll seek it out. But yeah, if I want to know that the sky is falling, I'll go outside and see for myself.
Yeah, I get lumped in the head.
Something hit me in the head. Okay,
the sky.
I guess it's real.
Yeah. I mean, I lost my parents last year, and
I didn't know. Sorry.
Yeah, it happens. It was 2 years ago I lost my dad, and last year I lost my mum, and the year before I'd lost my dad. My wife lost her mum, and it focuses the mind. Do you know what I mean? It focuses the mind, and pick out what's important. Be good to people, and try to try to think that other people have a different journey from you, and just because they think a different thing from you doesn't make them bad. If you don't agree with it, just be cool. Be cool.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
the Fonzie says, be cool.
I guarantee that, like, other people on this planet think differently than you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so learn to live with that.
Learn to live with it. Yeah. Yeah. Just learn to live with it. Be nice to each other.
Yeah.
Love your family. Love the people you know, and just be good to them. And draw death.
And draw death. It's funny. Like lately, last couple weeks, our garbage men haven't exactly been doing top-notch job. So pickup was today. So last night, I assisted my neighbors and took everybody's garbage out front.
All right, you good man.
So it's a little thing, but
still helps.
It's like, yeah, to me, it's also an OCD thing. It's like, I'm tired of seeing all this garbage all over the place.
Yeah, fuck everybody else. I just can't stand the garbage.
But but it's like one it was essentially a kid nearby, and he had surgery on his foot, and he actually asked me. I was going to do it anyway, but I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. I'll take your garbage out." You're walking around crutches. I don't expect you to do it.
No, good job.
But yeah, a little kindness, makes people's days.
Yeah, I listened to on occasion a guy called Tom Campbell. He's a physicist, and he talks about quantum physics and a particular theory he has that kind of links us all together. It goes into almost suggesting that you live in a simulation, but it isn't a simulation because it's a natural construct, and the basis of all existence is consciousness. It's not an objective reality like of nuts and bolts, like a big clock. Like most scientists like you to think underneath everything is consciousness, and all existence kind of sprouts from that font of consciousness. And actually, some of the elements he talks about, I've kind of built into the books that I've written. But he was talking about, because like all these kind of esoteric theories, often bring up questions about the real world. And someone was talking to him about but we live in this world, and there's all these politicians, and we hate them all, and what is there to do? And he's like, well, he says, he says we kind of get the world we deserve. We all collectively need to be nicer to each other, and if we all did that, surely we would get better politicians. We would get a better world. If you don't give these things the environment to grow, then they don't. I know it was quite esoteric, but it was, and maybe not practical, but it was just a really good thought process. I just thought it was a really good thought process.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers for president. No, but it's true. Just be who you are. It's like, there's also a heavy case of racism floating around in the air, and it's like, really, like, there was a time where like everybody was saying, "Oh, it's 2007. How is this still going on? It's 2012. How is this still going on?" Well, it's 2020, and it's
still going on.
Generations of stuff that has been going on, and like it's time to move past some things that just aren't working. It's like everybody is equal. God damn it. Just
Yeah.
get with
Yeah.
the program.
Yeah. No argument here. The only problem you've got is that, and again, I'm not going to get too deep on this. There are factions that won't even allow you to say, I'm colorblind. Everybody's equal. We're all humans. There's some people that don't like you saying that on both sides of the argument, and it's just, like I say, I'm a Gen Xer. I'm an old hippie. Like everybody's cool. Everybody's the same. We're all people. Just be good to each other. Fuck's sake. Is it that difficult?
It's people that have been brought up by people who are racist.
Yeah, you don't
just continue.
Yeah,
you can't change that overnight.
No, you're not born racist. You learn it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. I miss 1995. I really do.
It was a good year.
Yeah, it was. What's happened?
Oh, it's like, to me, it's still 1995 in my head.
That'd be great. Just it's still 95. Yeah, I'm going out to a rave every night. I don't think my knees would cope with that.
Yeah, it's like, I miss clubs. I miss just going on dancing. Nobody likes to dance anymore. I don't know.
I know. What's wrong with people? I miss karate. God damn it.
Currently
training. Yeah. I really miss the training. I train every day, but being in the club with other people, there's no substitute for
that. Yeah. Frank's talking in the chat. It's a lot of fear mongering. I feel you, Russ. He's talking. I lost my dad in June 2018, not too long ago. My mom this year in February. Man, sorry about that. It's been a long time since I lost my parents. My dad was 88. My mom was 2006. So
wow,
that's me and Jimmy were still in New York, living in New York.
You lost him young.
For that reason, to stay with my mom.
Yeah.
I have two older brothers, and they split New York, but we stuck around. I was pretty close to my mom, being the youngest and the baby.
It happens.
Yeah. And Frank says, "You're not born with hate. Hate is taught." Yes.
Yep. Damn straight, mate. Damn straight.
Is there anything we haven't spoke about, like, that's maybe more your thing than stuff you don't want to talk about?
Because I don't know what my thing is anymore. I really don't. I don't know. I like to talk to people about a breadth of subjects, and I really think that in a lot of ways we're the whole thing about talking to each other is being lost, and I think social media is probably to blame for it. And that's really sad. But I think we can get it back. I think I think things can come back. Just people just
Yeah,
need to talk to each other.
And I usually see, like, if there's any problem, it could usually be reversed or resolved by simple action. Like, like social media, it's great in many ways, but I tell you, like, what I expected out of the coronavirus on my Facebook feed is seeing people left and right, dying. But what I get is everybody's pets are dying.
Right. Okay.
It to me, that's the weirdest thing. It's like, I just don't, like, I know I'm a cat guy, and I got 5 cats, and but the last thing I expected during a pandemic is, like, the only posts I'm seeing are, like, everybody's cats passing away. It's the weirdest thing.
That is weird. Wow. Well, I don't know what to say to that. Meow.
Which to me is more depressing. I don't know, something.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. Yeah. Yeah, the old boy's 14 now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Getting on a bit.
I have babies compared to that. Yeah. So, do you allow your cat into your studio?
Oh, yeah. He goes pretty much anywhere he likes. He's we have a cat flat.
Oh, okay.
So he comes and goes as he wants through the kitchen.
Right.
What I don't allow him to at night, and it never used to be the case. He used to be allowed upstairs at night, and he'd just come up and sleep, or he'd a lot of the time when he was younger, he'd go out and hunt. But now he's just a noisy git. He comes upstairs, meow, meow, like that old cat meow. And sometimes he brings us presents in the form of dead animals, which you obviously don't want at that time in the morning.
What time is good for it?
Sorry? What time is good for him? Yeah. He had, he's 14 now, but 2 years ago he was still doing this. So at the age of 12 and 13, we have a 6-foot fence at the back of the garden. And he'd go down to the end of our road, which is out into the fields, and he'd go and get a rabbit. He'd drag it all the way back up the road, over a 6-foot fence, through a cat flap, and leave it in front of the sink in our kitchen. And it's just like, you bastard.
You're just supposed to tell him, I like rabbits too. No, don't bring me a rabbit.
So I shut the door now downstairs, the door to the upstairs. I shut that, but apart from that, he's got the run of the place. So comes and goes as he likes. Comes in and annoys me.
Yeah, I can't. Do you do any traditional work other than, like, sketching? I forget.
Yeah. Well, my commissioned work, I'll do traditionally, and I've got 10 splash pages, or sort of half splash or splash, in this book, and I'm going to print out pencils and do those traditionally.
Cool.
So you've got this combination effect, but it's a real piece of artwork. It's the actual page. Nobody else has it. It's a unique thing. So I'm going to use those as tiers in my campaign. So
nice.
People can get an original piece of artwork. But most of the time I work digitally, just because it's just easier.
I'm curious, because currently, like, I'm living in a small apartment, and I was engaged for a while, broke up, and I just came here. Anyway, so, like, I went from no cats here to 5 cats, and when it got to 5 cats, well, me and my ex, we got cat crazy, and anyway, things developed. So the point of it is that, like, it's not a studio apartment, but it's broken off as different rooms without doors. There's doorways, but no doors,
Right.
other than the bathroom. And when I had the 5 cats here, because essentially my living room is my studio, and they drove me insane. I was getting less and less work done. Because I was becoming a nervous wreck. Like, no, get away! I got ink open.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. You don't get any of that with digital work. No, the dog can't eat it. You can't spill your coffee all over it or any of that kind of stuff. Certainly, it's the digital side of things is better for the nerves.
Yeah. I mean, what I wound up doing is, we became friends, me and my ex, with a place just outside of town that's essentially a cat sanctuary.
Oh, right.
And so I have my cats there.
Mm-hmm.
Originally they had their own room, which I went and cleaned up and painted the floor and got it all set up for them.
Serious.
But they've been put into the regular population now. So now that they're a little more used to the place, they've only been there a couple of months, but they get along and seem to like it now. They're comfortable. Cool. So just until whenever I rent a home out here, instead of a small apartment. Because I gotta have a separate studio space.
Yeah, it's
with
helpful.
Those cats around.
Yeah, it is helpful that you can shut everyone off.
Yeah, I mean, there are times when I can get work done and they can hang out, and that's not a problem. But I gotta have the option available in my environment to where I can shut them out. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Boom, boom, boom. So, did you ever get into Jim Stalin's work?
Yeah, I got some Adam Warlock stuff, and because he invented the cosmic cube, didn't he? Stalin.
Yeah.
And so I love all that stuff.
He created Thanos.
Yeah,
for that matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The creator of Thanos.
I read Warlock and loved Warlock. And there's possibility of Warlock going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, or
that would be very cool.
Point.
Yeah,
that would be cool. Very cool. Now, mind you, it won't be exactly the comic version, but
no, it won't be.
Another book he worked on that I loved was Captain Marvel. This is the original Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. I've got that. I remember reading the beginning of the death of Captain Marvel when he went up against what's the name of the guy that blew up? Was it TNT or something like that? I can't remember. But he was like the exploding man, and Captain Marvel kept the energy in, and that's what started his trip to his final demise. And I remember actually getting the comic that was reprinted in, because over here I didn't get the originals, I got the reprints. But I got that, and I actually got the graphic novel, the Life and Death of Captain Marvel. That's up on my bookshelf. It's actually up on my bookshelf twice. And I did enjoy the Adam Warlock stuff. I remember my mum and dad buying me that stuff as a kid, and it had the Magus in it, that sort of egg-shaped creature, and Puck and all that stuff. Fabulous, just really open-ended cosmic stuff that sat nicely on top of what Kirby had done.
He really brought something new at a point where, it wasn't one of the original guys in the company. It was like this new kid, and he brought a whole new flavor.
Yeah,
it was like part religion, part cosmic space stuff, and
it was great. Yeah,
the villain of Adam Warlock was this purple guy, as opposed to he was like yellow gold guy, and
he didn't the because in the Adam Warlock stuff, Thanos turned up as well, didn't he? And and it was the Destroyer who looks a bit different now in the Guardians of the Galaxy films. But yeah, all that stuff was going on. Brilliant.
It was just like, I mean, I always loved his work. His art was fantastic, but he really crafted great stories and weird stuff as well. I mean, it was really good. I mean, I love Puck. Puck was like, I don't know why I like you, but you just like
strange, it's great. Enough. No, I think some of that actually has rubbed off in my work here. There's a bit of what I read as a kid from Stalin in here. Certainly the cosmic aspects of it. It's great stuff. Always loved it.
Gamora was in those books too. It's definitely huge fan of the art. Definitely a fan of the stories. Like with Captain Marvel, I loved that character. I loved that he had these bracelets on that he clanged, and it would be his buddy at the time.
Is it Rick?
Which
Rick? Rick James? No.
Rick Jones.
Rick Jones. And he ended up being sort of a pal to the Hulk, didn't he? Rick Jones.
The Hulk and Captain America.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's the ultimate. He was like just a fan of superheroes, and I don't know what. Like, I guess they explain him differently in different books, but like, he was a music guy, rock star in his own way, but also like a hang on to superheroes, and it was just really interesting.
Interesting characters.
It's sort of like years later, kind of destroyed his character. I don't know. I just lost interest in what they were doing with him. But
I think the trouble is it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy with comics that are based in floppies, because you've got to come up with new stories every month. So sometimes you have to reinvent, and a lot of the time you get the you get people saying that good writers should be able to write the character as they've always been, and I have some sympathy with that, but at the same time, just the pulp nature of these characters means that they're there for an awful long time. And I hate it though I do for saying this. I think some of them have run their course. and they're being kept alive artificially. And of course, what's happening is they're being kept alive artificially in the comic industry, in the persona of what they are now, and because of that, it's tarnishing what they were. So you're better off just making new stories and new heroes, out of the ashes of the old, rather than just messing up, what there already was. And I'm not necessarily blaming writers for that. It is difficult to keep a character the same from 50 years ago. It's got to be very, very difficult. But at the same time, if you write them too far away from what they were, then they cease to be that character anymore. So you've got to be careful with them.
I don't think it's impossible, but I think like the system isn't set up to do it right. It's such a machine that they sort of get off track, and then it's completely off track. And
exactly.
So we've been going a good amount of time. Is there anything you want to bring up? want to make sure to mention?
No, just get over to my channel, because now we have a little bit of a competition going on, and I need to get to 1,000 followers, 1,000 subscribers before Peter does, or he won't.
That's right.
Hear, the last of it. No, I did it, Russ. So get your backside over to Comic Book Black Belt and sub my channel. I put up repeats of the show that we do on a Monday night. That's me and Lucifer, and we just chat about comics, and we're going to have some guests on, and I imagine an invite will be thrown your way at some point, Peter, because I love speaking to you.
Cool.
And we will have some guests on, but we also, what's most important, we talk about comics, and we review old comics, new comics, whatever, all kinds of different stuff. So there's that. You get repeats of that on my channel. You also, or re-uploads of that on my channel. I've also done a series on Draw the Marvel Way, and how I love that original book, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, and that original book. And also I put up art videos, and just like yourself, I do streams a couple of times a week where people can just sit and listen to me babble while I draw. So and so come see me at Comic Book Black Belt, but also seek me out, russleach.com, comicbookblackbelt.com, and onlydeathcansavers.com. That's the book that I've been drawing here. If you like that, it's coming to an Indiegogo near you soon. There will be a holding page up, but go check out the book at onlydeathcansavers.com, because I've got a downloadable 8 pages. They're not the finished item, but they're a good show for what's going to be in the book, and you can download that there for free, and you can find me on Instagram and on Facebook, and of course on the Twitter anytime you like. And I'm more than happy. I don't want to talk about politics. I don't want to talk about that stuff. All I want to talk about is comic books, comic book art. And so if you've got an Indiegogo, if you've got a Kickstarter campaign, and you show it to me and I like the art, I'm gonna share the hell out of that, and I might even buy it.
There you go. I will say, if you don't know Russ and his work, he is by far, in my current circles of artists, one of the most professional. And you can learn a lot, and you talk about a diversity of everything that goes into a comic on your channel, and you have videos, and they could pretty much look at the titles and see, what you're doing in each, and check them out. And I don't know if you caught the title of the episode.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Of my episode. Okay. I've been doing song titles. I figured let's try this for a while.
Good stuff.
Do you know who sung this song?
No.
Tonight?
No.
Okay, it's It's a Marilyn Manson song.
All right, well, that's why I don't know it.
Oh, come on, you Gen Xer.
No. I wasn't listening to Marilyn Manson. I was listening to Oasis and Pulp.
You were listening to ABBA.
I was all up Britpop, mate. I was all Britpopping in your face. Britpop.
So let's see. We have a couple comments. Salah. I wore the Cobra Kai karate outfit on the ARTCAST last night with Jeff's ARTCAST. That's as close as doing karate as I'll.
I saw the thumbnail to that. That was hysterical.
Yeah.
I loved it. Brilliant.
Yeah. And he said Rick Jones was sidekick to almost every hero. That's pretty much true. Like he got around.
Much the size of it, yeah.
And he's the guy that Bruce Banner saved from the Gamma Bond, thus turning Bruce into the Hulk.
Yes.
So, yeah. I mean, he's such an interesting character, and the fact that he jumped around and it
almost
was really
the backbone
cool.
of Marvel.
And then they just, he's not around anymore. Oh well. But thank you, Russ, so much for coming around.
No problem at all. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, this was fun, and we'll be sure to do it again. And just make sure I beat Russ, and I'll give you $1.
One other thing, if you subscribe really quickly, okay, I can't post a book out for 2 weeks, and I said that I'd post a book out to a random subscriber when I hit 500, and I'm on 502 now.
Yeah.
So if you rush over there and subscribe, then you'll be in the draw for the book within the next 2 weeks.
There you go. Get in the drawer. All right. All right, folks.
Thanks, Pete.
My pleasure. See you all again tomorrow. Give it a like, subscribe if you're not, become a patron, all that jazz. You know it all. All right. And double click. Here we go.